When you pre-visualize a shot in your mind, you can visualize what you hope it's going to look like. This morning I've come to a spot that I've pre-visualized a shot for a long time, in fact, and it's woods that's not far from my house. I've photographed and shot a couple of vlogs here before. If you haven't seen them, I'll link to them here. But the one thing about where we are is I've always thought that this place would look absolutely beautiful in the autumn and with some fog. And just outside of the woods that I am here, I've got fog. On the other side, as I was coming in, I had a small bit of fog, but where I am now, there is no fog. But it's still beautiful. So I've come up here, it's just at dawn now, so it's just getting bright here in the background. And I'm hoping that there is a bit of nice color in the canopy. So I'm hoping that I get some nice light once the sun comes up and starts to send its light through here. Ideally, obviously, I'd love that in fog, but I don't have those conditions. Unless this fog will decide to make its way over here to me. It's in a clearing outside here, and it was in a clearing outside there. So I don't really think it's going to venture into the woods itself, but you never know. There's always a possibility, I suppose, but there's very little wind or anything like that. But we're going to explore here this morning. We're going to get a couple of photographs. We're going to see what the canopy is like and if the autumn is really starting to kick in here yet. It's not at peak by any way, shape or form, but it is starting. So let's go, let's explore this woods again, and hopefully we'll get some nice shots this morning. Essential piece of photography equipment in the autumn time is this. It's a polarizer. So a polarizer, I've spoken about it a number of times before. I've spoken a couple of episodes before, but it's a phenomenal tool because it allows you to enhance the colors that are there already. It reduces any sheen or shine, any bright or watery surface and stuff like that. And if you've got a pool of water as well, it allows you to be able to see through the water and change that entire look and feel of your image. Now, this is the Lee Landscape Polarizer, not sponsored by Lee. I wish I was, because they're quite expensive. So the polarizer itself here cost me 210 euros, which is not exactly cheap for what it is, which is a piece of glass. But the idea behind it is that you can twist here, and that will allow you to change the polarization, so you can have one part of the image that you want to be polarized or the other part not. But an essential part of photography equipment, particularly when you're in the autumn time, because like I said, it really makes those colors come to life. I've come over to the edge of the forest here because you can see in the background here is a bit of this mist, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to come into the woodland, and the area that it's going into is evergreens, so there's not going to be that much to photograph there. If it was only going into where I am right now, it would be absolutely beautiful, but might try and play here, just go for a quick explore. Sun is up now, so going to be under a bit of time pressure, but I might go play here and just see if there's a shot for me to take in the bit of mist that's there. It's probably going to burn off now, I think, pretty quickly, but yeah, pity it didn't come in, but we'll still get some nice photographs, I think, but pity it didn't come in because I can just visualize again what that would look like looking back into the forest that's right behind you there. I've come outside into the clearing now, and there's not much, to be honest with you, for me to photograph. There's a bit of the mist that's lying around here. I am surrounded by very, very light fog, but I see this web and it caught my eye with the light that's coming in behind it with the fog in the background. And I'm in pretty much chaos here at the moment. Just in front of me here is some old remnants, I suppose, of pieces of trees that have been cut down over the years. This is a fallen tree here. Right out of the fallen tree we have this plant here where the spider has obviously made its web from, and it's really striking because you've got a nice mist in the background. I'm going to wait until the light now will come across just the top of it here, because the light is starting to come in, and hopefully I get a nice shot here, something different, but taking the detail out of something else that really wasn't going to be nice to take a photograph of. Walking around in the outside area, and the mist is almost gone. The sun is up, it's giving a nice bit of light that's coming through the trees that are here, but there wasn't really anything nice for me to photograph as a foreground interest, except now. I found what's the remnants of a tree, obviously, so it's the base of the trunk, but it's lovely at the moment with the light that's coming right in here towards me. Capture a bit of the mist that's in the background, but the vibrancy on this in the front I think is going to be a nice shot. It's good to find something like this in all the clutter and the chaos that you would get on an ordinary woodland floor, but because this is part of Coillte, so Coillte is the Irish authority for forest renewal, they are growing trees and then they're cutting trees, and they're growing trees and cutting trees, and right here is the remnants of one of said trees. But once the light is here coming through, I do think it's going to be a nice photograph. I've put on my 0.9 ND as well, because I just want to be able to contain that sky, because I'm shooting directly into the sun. And my settings currently are, I'm on f11 and I'm shooting at excuse me, 0.3 of a second. My ISO is at 100, and I'm going to play around with, possibly I might have to do 2 exposures, one to capture the detail in the mist that's there, and then one here in the foreground. But I think it'll be a nice shot. Again, something slightly different, but definitely a nice shot. Playing around out here, you can see in the frame there you've got some nice long grasses. The sun has come through the trees now and it's lighting those up. There's a web as well that's hanging just from the twigs, I suppose, that are in front here, but with the sunlight coming through, lighting that up and putting the camera on f16, I hope I get a nice starburst, and I hope I get a nice fall of light as well coming straight towards the camera itself. It's quite wet as well here from the morning dew, so that should also add some nice glisten. I've since taken off the polarizer because polarizer will cut through haze, so effectively it was reducing the small remnants of mist that was remaining. But I think this is going to be a lovely shot. I'm shooting at f16, shutter speed is going to be quick, and I've got my 0.9 ND grad on as well. So we'll give you a look at this photograph here. I'm going to go back up into the original woods that I would have wanted to shoot anyway this morning, because with the sun being up there now I should get some nice light that's coming through those trees. So I'll show you this photograph anyway here, and we'll move back in there. you're shooting in the morning time, always be conscious of mist. So I'll give you a look at the front of the filter here, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of residue and mist. Luckily there's nothing on the lens as well itself, but just be conscious when you are shooting in the morning. You will get temperature differences and you will have condensation which will appear on the front of the filter. So in the background here is a tree that I'm really fond of, if I'm being honest with you. Every time I've come here I've taken a photograph of it. There's just something about this tree that really attracts me to it. Maybe because it's completely covered in moss, maybe because it's one of the few that have fallen in this ancient forest, and this woodland really has a lot of fairy doors and stuff that are put up for kids. So this, I imagine, at one point may have had a fairy door on it, doesn't anymore, but the way that it falls here is absolutely beautiful, and it's something that from the moment I saw it I said, you know what, this would be an absolutely beautiful photograph. Again, in autumn and with some mist. We're not in autumn yet, we are just getting a small bit of colour on the leaves that are surrounding this one here. There won't be any colour in the background, but there's a couple of small little saplings as well, which I think should give some nice photographs. There's also some mushrooms that are growing on the side of the bark or the trunk of that tree as well. So I'll go have a look at that, but first, time to clean this filter. So I've moved around the tree like I normally would do off tripod, just to be able to get a different perspective and find the right composition. And I've settled pretty much for similar to what you're looking at right there, but I've come in close enough to the tree. I'm at 35 millimeters. I'm shooting at f11 and I'm shooting at 1/6 of a second. My ISO is at 100 and I'm underexposing the photograph. The reason I'm underexposing the photograph is, even though it isn't bright, there's no bright highlights or anything like that, by underexposing you're accentuating the actual brightness within the frame or the image. And right now on the top of this tree, the way the light is falling on it, that part of the tree is actually brighter. So if I expose for that, the rest of the tree and the surrounding areas will be a bit dark, and then the leaves that you see over here on the left hand side, which are just starting to turn, they're getting a bit of light as well. So they'll be the two brightest parts within the photograph. I do love this tree. I do think that my vision of this tree, golden red leaves and a mist around it, would be a phenomenal photograph. I will come back here. I think in around 10 days maybe is when we're going to be in the peak period of time. It's now the 11th or the 12th, I think it is, of October, but don't have the ideal conditions, but still a beautiful photograph as well. So on that note, I'm going to finish today's episode. I really do hope you enjoyed exploring with me. Didn't get the conditions we were hoping for, but you know what, we'll park it, we'll come back, we might get it again. But I do think I got some nice images out in the clearing as well, which was unexpected, but I followed where the mist and the fog as well itself was. So as always, if you've liked this, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if it's your first time on the channel, and hit the bell so you know when I release a video. I release a video every Sunday, and until the next time, thank you very much, and slán go fóill.